Okay, so there. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight's Mozilla PH monthly online meetup. My name is Bob Reyes. So we are fortunate to have our special guest for tonight. So before I introduce her and give the virtual floor, so some reminders. Okay, so for those who just joined, first time to join the monthly meetup. Okay, so we have for tonight Rizki, Kiki, Kelimutu from the Mozilla Support Community. Okay, so some reminders. So this session is being recorded. A recording will be available for replay via YouTube by tomorrow. If you're not speaking, please mute your microphone, especially during the talks. There will be a question and answer portion after the speaker. And our agenda for tonight. So I'll be giving some updates on the community, and then we'll let Kiki do her stuff, and then we'll have a Q&A. And if there are no lightning talks. No one said that they will be doing lightning talks, and then some closing remarks. Okay, so some updates. Can you see my screen now? Okay, cool. Okay, so
Yes, yes, sir, Bob.
okay, maraming salamat. So Firefox 86 has been released uh, just a couple of days ago, February 23. If you're not on auto update, please update your Firefox desktop. And then we have the localization for Tagalog, both for desktop and Android, is ongoing. And some good news. We just kicked off the localization for Cebuano and Hiligaynon this week. So the details are on our website, mozillaphilippines.org or mozillaph.org. So check it out on how to participate. And as we had been doing for the last 2 weeks now, the Mozilla PH office hours is back every Wednesday at 9 p.m. by Jitsi Meet and Element, okay, chat.mozilla.org. In the coming weeks, we will have session speakers to give some tips and tricks from different partner communities. So please stay tuned for the announcements. Okay. So now, yeah, another announcement before I forget. So we'll be participating in FOSS Asia this coming March. Okay, so if you want to attend the sessions and workshops online for FOSS Asia, so there's a payment of $10 US, but we managed to get a coupon code from our friends at FOSS Asia. So all you need to do is go to this URL or scan the QR code, and it will lead you to the sign up site where you can get your tickets at $10 off. So you don't need to pay for the sessions and workshops. It will be free. Okay, so that will be awesome. If you need certificates of attendance, the organizers will be able to give one. Just request it from them. So get your tickets now. So now, okay, so on to our main event for tonight. We are so happy to have Kiki to talk about how you can support Firefox users across multiple platforms. Okay, so I'll be handing over the virtual floor or stage to Kiki right now. Hey Kiki, how are you?
Hey Bob, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for inviting me here and letting me cross your meet up tonight. So happy to be, meeting with you guys. It's been a while since I met a fellow Mozillian from Asia, so it's quite nice, although it's virtual. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to meet face to face again. Let me share my screen.
Okay, yeah. We are so happy and privileged to have you tonight. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
taking time off.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, as Bob mentioned, we're going to talk about everything about sumo. Some of you, I've met some of you in the past in some kind of past events. So you probably have heard about sumo before, but yeah, there are some updates as well that I'm going to talk about. So hopefully you will still relate to the talk. So yeah, generally we're going to talk about how you can support Firefox or other Mozilla's product in general on multiple platforms. Oh, and first of all, if we haven't met before in the past, my name is Kiki. I'm the support community manager in Sumo, or support Mozilla. But before that, if you're on the reps program, you might know Constantina. I worked together with Constantina in the past to, help her on the reps program as a community coordinator. I'm based in Jakarta, so not so far from you guys. I think we only have like 1 hour, 1 hour like time zone difference, right? So yeah, it's nice to meet some like fellow Asian Mozillian. Anyway, so I'm going to give you like an overview of what I'm going to talk about today. First is we're going to kind of like refresh your memory on what is Sumo is all about. If you haven't heard this, like what is Sumo actually? So we're going to talk about that. And then the second one is we're going to talk about various kind of contributions that you can do in Sumo, because we have like support is like we cover lots of like areas of support. So there are plenty of contribution opportunities that you can do in Sumo. And then the third one is we're going to talk about how you can find the rest of the community, how you can involve in discussion, how you can talk with other community members. And then the last one is I'm going to give you some pointers on how you can get started on the community. So moving on, first section, Sumo. When you kind of like hear sumo, you might, like think about like Japanese wrestle or something, but this is not the sumo that we're talking about, right? So sumo in Mozilla is basically support Mozilla. In Mozilla, we love to kind of like um, using acronyms. We use lots of acronyms, but yeah, basically sumo is support Mozilla, and that's just how we call the community since a long time ago, and it stick with us right now. Although the internal team is actually like has changed name now. It's like internally we call the team as customer experience, because now we start like taking care of like paid products as well. So yeah, internally we just call it like customer experience, but with community we still call the team as Sumo. So Sumo, obviously, we only have few people on the team, so we need lots of help from community, and like there are like the backbone of our support system, basically. Um, right now, now that we only have like one paid product, which is VPN, uh, we have we kind of like separate those from the peer-to-peer support that we've been doing with community, since we don't really like although we don't we let them to contribute to the paid products, but we try to prioritize the peer-to-peer support, like the for example like Firefox desktop, for Firefox for Android, or Firefox iOS, and other products like free products that we serve in Sumo. So yeah, so basically these are like the phases of Sumo. These are from the last meetup in Berlin. Like sadly, that was like the last meetup that we have. But hopefully we can do such meetup again in the future. Perhaps like with like uh, one of you two, or like two of you two, or like more of you here. So yeah, moving on to the second section about the contribution areas. So in Sumo, we have lots of various kind of like how you can contribute, right? And one and the most popular one is the forum support. So if you go to support.mozilla.org, you will see lots of like products that we have, like Firefox Desktop, Mozilla VPN is also there. Focus Hubs is I think the Hubs is the last product that we kind of like added to the platform recently. But actually, pardon for the background noise. It's a praying time here. But yeah, a forum is basically a place where people can go to ask questions about Firefox products. So if you have question about like add-ons, or like you don't know how to do things in your Firefox for Android, people usually go to the forum, and this is like the main area where like we interact with our users, and we have lots of contributors on the forum. So yeah, like people even some a few contributors, like they create as like a special add-on to like to fetch Firefox, or not only Firefox, like Sumo's question, so that they can check like every day. So it's really cool how passionate people are about helping other users. So if you feel like you're like this is your passion, you like to help people, you like to like troubleshooting problem, you like this contribution type is probably going to be work best for you. So yeah, so that's for support forum. The next one is knowledge-based contribution, or like this is basically how we call support article. We call it as knowledge-based. In this section, like you can actually propose an article idea, or you can just write it yourself even, or just improve the existing article that we have in Sumo. So so yeah, if you have like passion for technical writing, or you love, we actually have one contributor in KB who is a librarian, so she's really good on like managing like documentation. So if you kind of like those type of person, you probably will like contributing to knowledge base. Um, and yeah, that's the knowledge for the knowledge base. And then similarly to that, we also have KB localization. So basically, it's a similar thing that you've been doing on Pontoon, or like the product localization platform that we're using in Mozilla. Although it's quite different, because in Pontoon, you kind of like localize strings, right? Like you need to understand the context of where the string is being placed inside the product to be able um, to write, or like to localize the like the right context for the strings. I find that KB localization is actually like easier. I don't know. That's just like my assumption. Um, it's easier because it's an article, so we have the full context of what is being talked about inside like the article itself. Um, so funny story. I actually came from the community. I was um, an FSA. I started as an FSA in the past for student ambassador, and my first contribution to Mozilla was actually like localizing an article in Sumo. So now being in the team, it feels like going back to the root. So yeah, definitely, I think like KB localization is one of the easiest, like starting point where you can start contributing to Mozilla. Um, so yeah, like last time I checked, I don't think that we have Tagalog in Sumo, but I mean, like if you're interested to talk about it, to open like a new one for Tagalog in Sumo, we can talk perhaps like after this. So yeah, definitely lots of opportunities there. And then the next one is social support. So um, social and the other kind of contribution that we're going to talk about next is pretty different, because we use another tool for that. So the other three that I've been I talked about before. So a forum, KB, and localization can be done in Kitsune or support.mozilla.org. But for social, we use like a third party software. So you need to request an account if you'd like to contribute there. But anyway, when we say social, we only mean Twitter right now, because we don't really do Facebook anymore. I think we kind of like support Facebook in the past, but now that we are moving away from Facebook, we just support users on Twitter, on the social support now. So yeah, if you're passionate about social media, like you're a social champion like Bob, you can try to see if this is the area for you, because I found it also like very like this, like social support is a very low hanging fruit type of contribution, because it's so easy. You can also use your own Twitter account, although um, like earlier, no, but mid last year, we started a new Twitter account called Firefox Support. So it's basically a new account that we try to kind of like differentiate between um, the existing accounts like Mozilla, like at Mozilla or at Firefox that we have, so that those accounts can focus on brand, and we are trying to kind of divert people to Firefox support to ask, like support related questions. So that's the thing that we've been trying, like in the past, like only year. I think we just started. So it's a definitely exciting time to contribute to social support, also because we just moved to Contra Social as well, like last year. In the past, we use a tool from Buffer called Buffer Reply, but it's pretty limited because it's a seat based, so we can't really. We need to be really intentional on like who are the people that we want to add on the tool, because we have very limited seat. But in Contra Social, because the like the pricing isn't like seat based, we can add as many people as possible. So this is your chance, if you feel like you want it, or like you are passionate about social media and you wanted to help people on Twitter. Yeah, just like fill out the form to request an account in Contra Social, and we can give you some more pointers from there. And then lastly, something new as well that we tried since we kind of like transition Fennec to Phoenix. So if you remember, last year, we kind of like migrate Firefox for Android, um, kind of like code base from the old one called Fennec to the new one called Phoenix. So like to support that transition, we kind of like built a new tool called the Respond tool. So the tool, the kind of like picture that you can see there on the left side, it's the Respond tool, basically. So with that tool, we kind of like wanted to let our contributors, like so that they have a way to respond to Google Play Store reviews without like us having to add them to the Google Play Store console. So basically with that tool, we kind of like connect the API and stuff like that, so that you can just reply from that tool without having to go through the actual console or Google Play Store console. Uh, but then it's something new that we just announced like very recently. Just like I just sent the announcement like last Friday. So yeah, it's very like new. We transitioned the community from Respond to Contra Social as well, because apparently Contra Social is able to do like Play Store support as well. In the past, when we build the Respond tool, there are like barely like any tool that can do that. But then after we use Convo Social, we think that, like why do we have to keep or like um, manage two different kind of tools when we can just use one? It's a lot easier for us as well to have like the community in one place instead of like two, as well as like saving the engineering resources that we can use to work on the other platform, like the main Kitsune platform, for example. So now, if you would like to help users for Firefox for Android users on Google Play Store, you will also need to request an account on Contra Social. But I think it will make it easy because you know it's the same tool. So for some of you, for example, like here, Bob, you use Contra Social in the past, so you already kind of like know how's the tool, how to use the tool, and things like that. So it's a lot easier. You don't have to like learn another tool anymore. So yeah, that's the various kind of contribution areas that you can do in Sumo. I know it's a lot. We have like 5 different contribution areas. That's why sometimes when like people reach out to us, we kind of like lay out like the various kind of contribution that they can do, and sometimes they confuse. But on the other hand, it's also like you can choose based on your preference. Like you can just see based on your interests. If you like social media, then you can focus on social support, and nobody can complain about that. You can do whatever you want. So it's just make it easier to have like different type of contribution based on your interests. Um, okay, so that's it for the contribution area. This is basically the announcement about like transition to Contra Social from the Response tool. You can check the like the full announcement here, but I will also share the slide after this, so you can just click on there. And then moving on to the next section, where to find us. We have various places. Oh, I should actually like put our discourse as well. But anyway, we have various places where you can reach out to our community. First is that the metrics room. We are on metrics. It's called Sumo, or a room is called Sumo. Although we have also another room for social support, but the main room is the Sumo one. So you can just look Sumo in Matrix, or you can go from that link. We're pretty active there. In the past, we used kind of like Telegram, but when we transition the community, I think we done it like a couple of years. Oh, no, like last year, only last year. I think beginning of last year, we moved to Matrix since like we have Matrix now. So we kind of like retire the Telegram group and move to Matrix. And then the next one is the contributor forum, another like active space for our community. It's on our main website, support.mozilla.org, but it's a different forum than the support forum, or like the product support forum. So sometimes people confuse. They ask like support question in our contributor forum, but those are like different kind of thing basically. But I can show you after that, after this, I think. And then this third one is the community call that we have. It's it says weekly, but it's actually now monthly. So yeah, we have the call monthly, basically like after each Firefox release. So we usually have the release on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, we usually have the monthly meeting for Sumo, where we kind of talk about updates from various products that we just release, or like updates. So yeah, and plus the discourse one, but I will add the link after this call. Apologize for that. Anyway, so that's the third section. And then last one, how you can get started in Sumo. So if you're interested to help Firefox users, or like maybe you're passionate about hubs and you want to help hubs users, you can, first thing first that I'd like to recommend is taking the Getting Started course in Teachable. it's a very short course, but you will kind of like get to know, get the full picture of like this support community, because we have so many contribution types, and sometimes those, like contributors are kind of like siloed. But in the course you will also learn about the various terms that we use in Sumo, which sometimes can be confusing when you just started in the community. So it's a very um, packed and brief document, but hopefully useful for you to know more about Sumo. And then after that, after you take the getting started course in Teachable, we we also kind of like give overview of the various contribution area there. So by then you might have a better idea on where you want to contribute, either on the forum or KB or localization or Twitter or Play Store, you name it. And there you can also find like further guidelines on how you can get started on a specific contribution areas that you're interested in. And then after that, you can also join our metrics channel to be able to talk with other community members. And make sure to also watch the contributor forum. So I will show you the contributor forum over here. So this is the contributor form. Um, it's a different form than the product one. So the product one is this one. So this one is a product one because it's like product based. You can choose based on the product. But the contributor forum is the one in here under the contributor tools and then discussion. And here's the contributor form, just so that you won't mistake it. And if you haven't been in Sumo before, you will probably like be here the first time. You can watch this forum, so then you will get like notification whenever we have like new announcement on the contributor forum, like new release or like community goal, things like that. It's a nice way to like to get connected with what happens in Sumo and what are the like new updates that are happening in various Mozilla's products. So yeah, that's basically it. I think I don't have anything else, so that's it.
There. Thank you, Kiki. So first
You're
question.
welcome.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if I will be contributing, for example, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not contributing to Sumo.
Yeah.
If I will be someone who wants to contribute to Sumo, will there be X number of hours that I will be required, say, every week to go online
Mm-hmm.
and to answer
Yeah.
questions related to support?
Yeah. That's a good question. Like time commitment, right? It's I think it's important when you kind of like just started and you don't know how much of your like you can contribute to the community. But in terms of like the requirement, I wouldn't say that we have any certain requirement to contribute to Sumo. Um, but depending on your time, like the available time that you have, for example, if you only have like 30 minutes of your time to contribute, I would suggest perhaps to contribute to Twitter, because Twitter is pretty lightweight in terms of like the type of issues or like problem that like being talked about, instead of like the forum where you need to like do like full research on the problems and things like that. I think it takes much like more time. So yeah, in terms of like the time commitment, I would say like starting from the easiest one or like the shortest like time needed one is going to be like Twitter, and then perhaps the Play Store. After that, the forum, and then localization, or perhaps like KB first and then localization. like depend on the article, like localization can be time consuming, but if you find like a short article, it can be like very easy and quick to do. But yeah, that's depend on the article.
There. That's awesome. So,
Mm-hmm.
if ever someone wants to contribute to Sumo using Twitter, do I need a
Mm-hmm.
separate account or can I use my own personal
Yeah,
account?
yeah, that's another good question. So in Twitter, there are two things that you can do. Um, we in the past we kind of like use for FX help hashtag on Twitter in order to accommodate like contributors who don't have um, access to our buffer reply because it was kind of like limited in the past. um, so those people usually use their own personal account, but now that we have Contra Social, if you wanted to contribute to social support, you can just request an account in Contra Social so that you can reply from the official Firefox Support account, so that you don't need to use your own account anymore. Although you
Awesome.
can also do that. Like in the past, we used to have like a few contributor like manage like accounts like random Firefox users, like in Twitter, if some of you have heard about that. Those are like community owned account that they started on their own without, like instruction from us. So you can also do that. But if you want to do it like officially, you can also request an account on Contra Social. Hope that answer your
Cool.
question.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So,
Hmm.
Sir Richard Meribeles will be asking one question or
Hmm.
two,
Go
maybe.
ahead.
Hello, hello, Riz. Good
Hi.
evening. Hi, hi. It's a little bit foggy for me right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I checked the Somo here, no, its definition, but maybe this is because of jet lag. But I'm really interested. How can this be of help for web developers or
Mm-hmm.
um app developers? Is there any relevance for them
Mm-hmm.
regarding Sumo?
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of like developer community, I would say um, like MDN is probably the more, like relatable platform for those kind of people. But we do sometimes like receive question about like dev kind of like tool or like things like that that are pretty technical. So like it's probably the kind of like opportunity where like technical people from the dev community can actually chime in and contribute to Sumo. I think that's what I can think of right now.
Okay. Okay. Sige. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you, Riz.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, next to ask question is Kim. Go ahead, Kim.
Hey Kiki, long time.
Hey. Yeah, I remember you. We met in
Anyway,
Thailand, right?
yeah. Anyway, uh, a few of us here experienced the past version of the Sumo. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna ask if did you completely revamp the point system? Did you really remove everything about that?
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Uh, but
why
because
did you
before, like,
finish?
there's a ranking system, but actually it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really matter that much, except that you're on the top of the leaderboards if you're really that active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me make sure if I understand the question correctly. Are you talking about the this contribution data or
Uh, Before, yeah, if I don't know if you have tried it before. There's like you gain points for every solution that was answered successfully. Maybe I don't know if it is similar to the one you're showing now.
Okay, so I think I understand what you mean. Like this one, the top contributors dashboard.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Kim is referring to that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, this one is like based on the contribution data in the last 90 days. So if you've been contributing to Sumo in the past 90 days, and you've got enough contribution data that, like can compete with the rest of the community, like members here, you might be able to see your names here. I think we kind of like show like 100, right? So yeah, it's basically based on the contribution data from the past 90 days.
Okay. Before I just remember that before there's like uh per local that's always on top. Like for example for the Philippines
Mhm.
uh there's top 10 for that one and
Yeah, yeah. Well, from the like for the localization contribution, for example, you can select based on locale. So for example, like let me just use Buzz Indonesia here. Um, so this is the like specific leaderboard for localization community in Bahasa Indonesia. Like you can see like how many contribution that people are doing here.
yeah.
Is this
It,
what you mean?
yeah, yeah. Uh
Yeah.
it's just good something uh like a bragging right for everyone who wants to
Hmm.
contribute because you'll be like the top for your counter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
to incentivize the 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 event or I mean the being for the support, but it's a good
Mhm.
thing that just like the bragging right itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. It's a good, like recognition way for the contributors to be able to, like being displayed here as a top contributors. And I think in the forum, if you are on like top 25 or something, uh, you will get a spatial kind of like naming under your name um, if you reply to a question on the forum. So for example, I can show you here. Um, uh, Jefferson is one of our like top contributors on the forum. If you see the support thread, oh come on. And here we go. Yeah, you'll get like a special kind of recognition as a top 10 contributor here. So like the user will be able to kind of like differentiate between, like the top contributors versus the other.
Okay, thank you, Kiki.
Sure.
Okay, so Sir Richard will have another question for you, Kiki. Go ahead, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rick. Just to help me about this Sumo,
Mm-hmm.
can you cite other websites or any similar technologies just like Sumo, just to stitch
Mm-hmm.
some confusions in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's pretty well. So it's pretty kind of like unique in this way because yeah, I mean, like the way we provide support is that we just create a platform for people to meet. So contributors and users will be able to help each other. But in terms of like other platform that are similar to Sumo, I would say like oh, we do have one called Mozilla Zine, although I think it's more focused on knowledge base, although we do have forum as well. So in Mozilla Zine, It's a community project basically. It's pretty similar. We have forum in Sumo, and Mozilla has also a forum here, and knowledge base as well. So yeah, it's basically pretty similar, right? Like um, we can use the KB articles to look for like troubleshooting information, and then if we can find the answer to our questions in KB, we can ask on the forum.
Uh-huh. Um I have my students. I don't know if they're online, but
Mm-hmm,
I think I have my students here right now, and they
mm-hmm.
are listening to you. Uh, how can this sumo help them um, in their studies? My students are BS Information Technology
Uh,
students. So how can this SOMO help them?
mm-hmm. So computer science
Yeah.
student basically, right? Yeah. Well, that's exactly like me. I mean, like I studied computer science back then, and I contributed to Sumo like since I was in college. And I think like from my personal experience, like speaking from sorry, I think I kind of like this battery here. Am I still audible?
Yeah, somehow.
Yes, you
Okay.
are.
So yeah, in terms of like the benefits that like comes from my experience myself, I think I get to practice, like my English writing skill, because I started as a localizer in Sumo. That kind of like give me like opportunity to practice to write in English. Also, I love blogging as well, so it's kind of help in terms of like yeah, like basically practice more writing skills. And then I would say getting to know like you know an international community. It kind of help as well in terms of like broaden my insights on like what are new technologies out there. So it definitely helped me to like started to get to know how the real world out there from my perspective back then when I was still in college.
I think that's what I'm waiting to hear.
Oh, I can't hear. Wait a second.
Can you hear me, Rick?
Yeah, now I
All
can
right.
hear you now.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what I'm waiting to hear. I think that would be all. Thank you very much for the advice, Rick.
Mhm. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for your
Okay.
question. Hi.
Thank you, Sir Richard. So there's another question from Jake. Go ahead, Jake.
Hi, Kiki. Good day, everyone. My question is how, with the use of Sumo, is a way how you able to verify if the content is, or a form of review if the content that is being given by the volunteers is correct, or validation,
Mm-hmm.
or the steps that being put in the knowledge base?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question. So, in KB, or like the knowledge base, if you, I can show you like the example here. Oh no, this question. So, for example, if you open one article over here and you scroll to the bottom, you will see like these people who are helping with the article. So these are like contributors and staff members who help the contributor or the article in the past. Sorry. And if you scroll to the article history, so here you can click the show history menu. You can see how the article is kind of like evolved over time from the beginning, like when the article, like first. Wow, it's an old article. So yeah, it started from 2010, and then like many people have updated and modified the article, and now like it's like updated until now. And the system over here is when you submit a new modification to the article, it will be kind of like counted as a new revision, and somebody has to actually review that article before approve it or reject it. So that's how the kind of like checking system, like in place in Sumo.
Okay, thank you so much. So I can see here there is a history and then there is a moderator who will check for the content and then there are some changes. If there are some mistake, there is some correction. So thank you so much for answering my question, Kiki.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Bob.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jake. So just to clarify, Kiki, so the
Mhm.
way the forum goes is like it's an entry in a wiki, right? So people can edit and yeah, can basically correct if there are errors submitted by any volunteer or contributor.
Mhm. Yeah, the KB article, like how KB article works is basically like wiki, but more with more, how should I say, with more approval or moderation system. So in Wiki, you can just edit the wiki and then it will be published. But then you will have like the history on who actually changed the wiki, right? But there's no moderation system in Wiki. But in Sumo KB article, you will have to be approved. If you, like send a new revision to the article, you will need to be approved before the article, like updated based on your modification. Does that answer? Like clarify?
Yes, awesome. So it's like using a wiki and a GitHub at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, basically when you send a new modification or revision, it's like a PR, like a pull request in GitHub. Somebody need to review the pull request before the code being merged into the repository, right? So that's basically how it works in KB.
Awesome. Last question. What
Mhm.
will it be for me to contribute to Sumo?
Uh, Pardon? Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so what is it for me? What will be the benefits of me contributing to Sumo? So why should someone contribute
Mhm.
and volunteer to Sumo?
Yeah. That's definitely a good question. What's in it for me, right? I think I would say that's depend on the contribution area that you are interested in. So, for example, in in KB article, you get to practice your writing skill, and in localization, you get to practice your like English skill and like translation skill, perhaps. um, or when it comes to the forum, for example, I've seen that like some people, some core contributors are driven by like their passion to Firefox. They even like have their own kind of like site or you know like trick on how to modify their Firefox. So people who contribute to the forum are mostly people who really passionate about Firefox and wanted to help other people who like have any kind of like trouble with their Firefox. um, so I think yeah, that like reward from helping people are I think the thing that are the things that keep our contributors doing their contribution in the forum or in Sumo in general.
There, awesome. Kim has last one question.
Okay.
Hi, Kiki again. Just gonna ask if the Sumo team also uh moderates or manages the Reddit support for Firefox, or it's a
Ah,
different
yeah.
team who works on that.
Yeah, it's a good question. We've been like thinking about to expanding to Reddit. But I would say that right now we don't officially like manage Reddit thread or like the Reddit subreddit for Firefox at the moment. Although I would say that a few staff members are like the moderator there, but as an official Sumo team, we don't really or officially manage the subreddit. Um, so yeah, but hopefully in the future we would be able to do that because apparently people are like I think Reddit has been like a an alternative for people to ask question apart from the forum, so it's a definitely interesting area to explore in the future. Mhm.
Thanks.
Maybe Kim is going to volunteer to moderate the Reddit.
I know, right? People are like they like Reddit more than the other forums, so it's I think we will have like more volunteer there.
Okay, so we're taking advantage of you being here on our meetup. So final question from Sir Richard Rebeles. Go ahead, sir.
Rick, I think my question, this one is of the topic, but since you're with Mozilla, I just want to throw this question. With the upcoming elections here in Philippines, are
Mhm.
there any are there any is there any plans from Mozilla on how to help us, especially with the combat of misinformation? I
Mhm.
hope Mozilla has.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a crucial question. I would say definitely reach out to the Mozilla policy team because they're more specialized in that space. I can't speak on their behalf because obviously I'm not, like specialized on that. But yeah, I can definitely connect you with if you're interested to pursue that topic further. I can connect you with the Mozilla policy team. And if you heard about internet health report that the Mozilla Foundations are doing. We just launched a new internet health report from 2020, I think just like last month. So you can perhaps also like check out the latest, like report and see what is happening out there, right? Like in the global scale, because I believe like we can also learn from the others in that space. So yeah, definitely check out the Internet Health Report. And if you want to connect further, I can also connect you with the Mozilla policy team.
Yeah. Thank you for that,
Thank
Rick.
you, Kiki. Sir Richard, just to add, from the side of the Mozilla Philippines community, we will be launching something related to your question in the weeks or months to come. So please stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
So it is something within our radar. So we will have something for the local community related to misinformation and disinformation, especially that elections are forthcoming.
Yeah, salamat. Salamat po, sir. I really need it badly.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. So with that, we will let go of Kiki. Thank you very much for spending your Saturday night with the Mozilla
Oh,
Philippines community. Really
well, thank you for
appreciate it. Terima
having
kasih.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you for the invitation, and hopefully it was useful for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but before you go, for everyone else, maybe if you can turn on your camera, we'll just have a quick group photo, virtual group photo. Okay. So please turn on your cameras so we can take our yeah, group photo, virtual group photo now.
Should I do
So
that as
let's
well?
sure. Okay. So who else? Geraldine, G. Velis, Rufa May, Maria, Anton is here, Raymil, Lucy, who else? Nestor is here. You can alter your camera so that we can have our last photo for tonight, those who are in attendance. Okay. So yeah, we just take this. Okay, three, two, one. Okay, one more for safety. Okay, say Mozilla. 1, 2, 3. There. Thank you. Okay. So
Hey.
again, our sincerest thanks to Kiki for joining us in tonight's Mozilla PH online meetup. Really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, this will not be the last, and we'll see more contributors to Sumo from the Philippines.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to meet offline in the future.
There. Thank you very much. And to the rest of our team, magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Maraming salamat. Ingat kayong lahat and see you online on Wednesday if you're free. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Sir Bob. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye.